Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Max is a small cooperative game for children. It stars a cat named Max who is chasing down a bird, a chipmunk, and another animal. And you're playing the three animals cooperatively, and you're rolling the dice and moving them in order to get them to their home locations. In the meantime, when you roll the dice, you could accidentally activate Max, and he'll start chasing them down. And it's just a simple roll and move where sometimes you have luck and you move all the people that you want to, and sometimes you roll Max. This is a great game to teach cooperative. It's a great game to play with younger kids. I mean, even at the starting age of 2 years old, 2 and 3 years old, I can get my kids playing Max. The kids older, 6 and 9, still play it occasionally, but I try not to overburn them because it is a simple just roll and move. There really aren't a lot of decisions to make, but there are some. So there's shortcuts in the game where you'll be moving. Now, when you roll a dice, you have a certain movement for your good guys, the animals, non-Max characters. And you can choose which one you move, and there's certain shortcuts they can move down. And each of the animals that you're moving positively has their own shortcut. So, you have a question of, do I move this guy really quickly to get him down the road through a shortcut, or do I move them all kind of at the same time? How close do I want Max to do? Now, Max has certain things like treats that will pull him back, and it's quite obvious that Max's maximum movement is 2 on a turn, so you don't want him to be within 2 of getting that treat. Easy for parents. It's easy for me and you. But for kids to figure that out, sometimes they'll press their luck. Sometimes they'll move him back too soon, kind of wasting that treat. And that's just something they kind of figure out that we take for granted. It's such an obvious move. Such an obvious. Wait till he's at least 2 spots away and then move him back. But this is something kids have to learn. And the best way to play this, at least with my children, is to let them make that decision. Let them learn that decision. And also they'll be like, well, he's not quite 2 away. And I let their wheels turn. Okay, Dad, we'll keep going then. But I want them to, he's not quite 2. Oh, he's 2 away. Is that something we should be watching out for? And as time goes, their wheels turn, and the strategy comes together for them, and it's brilliant. Max is actually a really good cooperative game that I would recommend for kids. We kept it. We've had a lot of good years with this. I have an older version of it. I haven't played the new version yet, but it is a great game. The components in the old version is lacking quite a bit, but we haven't had anything tear apart. We've had a good time. The dice have held up. The little cardboard chits have held up. And it's one that I would say, listen, if you haven't played this or have got this for kids, you probably could find it cheap, and I would recommend it to you. Absolute keeper for us. This is Max, the cooperative game. You can see Max is a cat. It's kind of an older game. This is by Family Pastimes. They used to make a lot of really good kid cooperative games. You're going to get a couple dice in here and some chits. Now, these chits are very thin by today's standard. They look kind of cute, and the dice are custom with these little dots on it. They have lasted quite a while. You also get, the box is kind of flimsy, just be aware of that. You get some rules that we'll take a look at in a minute, and then you'll get this nice board. You can kind of see it has kind of an 80s style to it, but it's a nice board. It's held up pretty well over the years. It's a very old game. Here are the rules. You get this sheet of yellow paper. It's only one-sided, nothing on the back. Give you a general idea of the players. Remember, there weren't a lot of co-ops probably when this came out. It's probably something a little bit different about how you're playing and setting this up. But the rules are actually fairly good. You can see mine has been bent over the years. This has got care from the parents and the people that had it before me, but this could easily be ripped up like a sheet of paper. So this is how you set up the game. You're going to have the 4 items off to the side. Max will be asleep here on the rug, and the 3, the chipmunk, the bird, and the mouse will be on the stump. Now, the rules specifically also say, number 4 of setup is examine the dice. So you're required to look at the dice. Are you done? The black side of it will move Max. The color side will move your creatures that you want to move. So during the game, you're going to roll the 2 dice. You'll move whatever's on there. With a black, you'll move Max 1 spot. The green, you can move any one of the creatures that you want. Now, there is a double black. If you were to roll 2 blacks, then you would move Max twice, or green, you could move either one person twice, or each of 2 creatures 1 space. Now, each creature is going to have its own shortcut. If that creature was to land on that spot, you may move it here. You may not want to because Max may be on that spot, but you are eligible if you so choose to move and go faster down that shortcut. But only the animal listed can do so. Now, these treats are used if Max ever gets too far ahead. you can use one of these treats, put him down, and then Max has to go all the way back to the rug in order to eat that treat. So this gives you 4 times during the game you can bring him back to the beginning. Now what you're trying to do is get these guys all the way across the board through here where they can nest in the tree. If you get all 3 of these in the tree, then you win the game. Max can never get on the tree. The furthest he can get is here. And if he was there and say these guys were on this side of the board for whatever reason, you would have to use a treat to push him all the way back, giving these guys access to the tree. The only caveat to that is if Max is ever on the last space, then treats will not bring him back. So if you're going to get him back, you got to do so before he gets to this last space. At this point, the only way they could get in would be rolling a double green. If they rolled a 1 green and a black, then Max would get them. Otherwise, if you roll 2 greens, they can go right past Max and into the tree. Who should buy this game? This is strictly a kid's game and strictly a younger kid's game. A lot of times I hear, well, what game should I buy for a younger child? Where should I start them out with? Max is a great game to start them out with. It's cooperative, which is neat. A lot of kids don't play cooperative games. A lot of the mass market games are not cooperative. So it's something new for them to understand. It has the familiar roll and move, which is okay because that roll and move comes with decisions. And that's the problem with roll and move. It's not the fact that you're rolling the dice and moving. It's the fact that, like in Monopoly, you don't get a lot of decisions about your move. You know, if you could cut the dice in half in Monopoly, instead of if you roll 2 dice, if I could just use 1 or the other one or both combined, that would at least be a choice and make it more interesting. Of course, in Monopoly, you want people moving around the board as quickly as possible. So in this one, I roll the dice, where sometimes I have to move Max, but I have a choice of the other 3 animals that I can move and what's the best strategy to do so, and when do I pull the treat on Max. Those are decisions, simple decisions for us, but great decisions to learn for your children. So this will go on the younger kids' ages and not the older, but one I would highly recommend using as a learning tool for gaming for your children. Max is an absolute keeper for us. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you liked it, please like it and hit that little subscribe button. That really helps out the channel, lets us know that you're getting the videos that you want. If you agreed or disagree with what I said, feel free to comment below. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I promise that I will comment back. Thanks for watching, and everybody else, keep playing.